Okay, so like I said, we're starting chapter 13, section 1, notes packet. Obviously, that can be found on your Google Classroom in your classwork section. I haven't put a due date yet. You don't have to worry about the due date yet because we're not finished it. We're not finished the notes packet. So let's keep rolling. So we're going to be talking about motive and means. In this section, guys, we're going to be getting into a couple different things when it comes to exploration, where people started to decide they wanted to see outside of their own little area. All right, and why could they do that? Why they wanted to do that? When you think about the concept of travel today, it's pretty simple. You get in your car, you go, right? You get on a plane, you go. I get online right now. I can buy a plane ticket. I can be in another country by late tonight. Yeah, it's not that difficult to get out of here and go somewhere. That's how we have grown up. Back then, you were stuck in your area. You didn't go much farther than that, and there were reasons for that. One major reason was you could die. It was not, it was a harsh world out there, and a lot of people didn't know what to expect out there. So you had you had to have some guts, if you will, right? A little bit of fortitude to say, I'm going to travel to places that I've never been before. I don't know if I can even make it there. I'm taking a guess that I can make it there, and maybe die a cruel, harsh death if I don't. So we understand that there's got to be some respect given to anybody that was willing to kind of undertake that. Now, what was the reasons behind they would undertake it, we're going to get into a little bit today, okay? So if you're looking at your notes packet, if you're doing this later, that's fine. Just pay attention to me now so that it kind of triggers. You can be writing stuff down off to the side on your notes packet, highlighting whatever I tell you. In the 15th century, Europeans began to sail all over the world. Remember, we talked about boats being able to now catch the wind and be steered by the stuff that they had invented back then. Because of the conquest of the Ottoman Turks in the 14th century, Europeans could no longer travel by land to the east like Marco Polo. Have we heard of Marco Polo? Good. One of my favorite Geico commercials. I love Geico commercials. I think they're the best things on television. They're just great. But there was this one where, Marco Polo, he's in a pool, and they're going, Marco Polo, and he's going, I'm right here. Like, it's so stupid, it's funny. You know what I mean? I love the clogging one now. Like, we have a tag. They're so great. Has anybody seen the bagpipe one yet? I just saw it yesterday for the first time. They move into a new apartment, and they're like, we're having problems with our pipes. And they open up and under their sink, there's a guy with a bagpipe. It's hysterical. It's the little things that make me laugh. So we see a situation where Marco Polo was able to travel by land. And that would have been easy. I mean, I shouldn't say easy. It would have been easier. A little bit safer, a little bit knowledgeable. You know what land you're dealing with, right? You know what to avoid, what not. But out on the ocean, it's very unpredictable, right? You go out on the ocean, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. Rogue wave can come and take you out. They don't have the big cruise ships that they have today. They had some nice boats, but nothing like what you see today. And even boats today, bad things can happen. You know what I mean? If you ever watch the show Deadliest Catch, right? It's a pretty popular. It's been around forever now. But these guys who are out on the Bering Sea, there's waves that come out of nowhere that are just monstrous, take out these huge vessels, knock people over. So the ocean is crazy. All right. So to be able to decide that you're going to do that, you got to be a little bit in the head, if you ask me. But God bless them. So they decide that they have to reach Asia by sea now. Okay. They had three main motives to undertake these dangerous voyages. So you're going to want to underline these motives. You're going to want to know these motives. This is going to be an essay on a test. There's no doubt about it. Okay. The first was economic reasons. Economic reasons. Economic reasons means money. They wanted to make money. They wanted to make a lot of money. Now you might think, well, how are they going to make so much money, right? Well, they were going to trade things. All right. They were going to trade, in particularly, a lot of different things, but spices. Spices were huge. You and I can walk to our cabinet and take out a spice. Oh, I need pepper, right? Oh, I need salt. Oh, I need garlic, right? And some of our houses have more spices than we'll ever use. I have bottles of spices that I've never even opened before. I don't even know what they use them for. And I like to cook, but we just have it 59 cents at the store. You can get a thing this big of whatever. Back then, these spices were not readily available, and they were like gold almost. Like literally, they were like gold. and I'm going to explain that as we get through some of these notes, maybe not today, but as we go on, how much money you were talking about. Literally getting rich, and I put this in quotations because it wasn't, but overnight. All right? Literally getting rich like almost overnight. Like obviously it would be a long voyage and all that, and if you survive, but it was ridiculous the amount of money they could make. So the first motive was economic reasons. They were going to get paid. All right? They were going to risk their lives to get paid. Europeans hoped that they could find precious metals and expand trade, especially spices. I just talked about that. The second motive was religious. Underline that. Religious reasons. Many Europeans believed that it was their duty to convert other people to Christianity. So, yes, they could get rich, but they also believed that part of their life mission was to expand Christianity around the world. Expand Christianity around the world. That led to some problems. Obviously, when certain explorers would get to different lands that didn't practice Christianity, they would try to Christianize different groups of people. Well, were the Native Americans Christian? No, they were not. And so they had their own gods. They had their own way of living life. And when you overtake another people, you eventually change their religion, and you eventually make that group of people almost die out or become almost non-existent. That's kind of sad, wouldn't you say? Right? So yes, there's a good reason behind, if you're a practicing Muslim or a practicing Christian and you want to share your faith with somebody, today that's a little bit different than back then. You might sit down with somebody over a cup of coffee and talk about, here's what I believe in my life, and it's done this for me. Whereas back then it was, you're going to believe in Jesus or we might kill you. See how that could be a problem? All right. Nowhere in the Bible would it tell them to do that, but people take religion sometimes and skew it a little bit, right? And they make it a little bit nutty. But you have economic and religious reasons. We want money, and we want to be able to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. How they spread it, that's a whole different ballgame, but we can deal with that another time period. All right. So that's what their one. And their third motive, and this is an interesting one, was their desire for glory and adventure. All right. Now, we probably understand the word adventure, right? Right? Anybody not understand the word adventure? Anybody out there in La La Land? We probably all understand that, right? How about glory? Does anybody what does glory mean? That's a word that we don't use a lot. You out there, obviously, if you want to answer, just hit your microphone and let me know in here. What do you think glory means? Anybody? Raise your hand. I'll be interested to hear what you have to say. Go ahead, Cal.
Glory is like people will recognize that what you've done is an incredible feat.
Okay.
And you are like kind of above them.
Okay.
And you are just like this amazing person who did this amazing thing or discovered or thought, whatever it is.
Okay, I like that. So it's glory is something where you're recognizable, right? Anybody out there have something? Anybody? Don't feel jealous, just shout it out. We're just sitting in our rooms thinking about glory. Nothing? Glory. Usually when you hear the term glory, you hear it in religious circles. Give glory to God, right? It's honor. It's that you carry a certain weight about you. Now, I don't mean this kind of weight that I carry. I don't mean that. I mean like when you walk in a room, you're like, it's Venuto, right? Like, it doesn't happen often. Like, even my own kids are like, my Rottweiler barely runs to me anymore. My wife walks in the room, my Rottweiler goes, oh, it's fine, right? She carries a weight about her. Not that my wife is big, but when my wife walks in the room, the boys run to her, my dog runs to her, right? I walk in the room and go, hey, right? But when let's say right now, some popular, LeBron James, I love basketball, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, some popular basketball player walked in the room. If you liked basketball or even cared about pop culture, you'd probably be like, whoa, right? They haven't done anything but put a ball through a net. I'm belittling a little bit, but LeBron James has done some pretty amazing things. I'm not trying to, but there's this like, whoa, that's them, right? Like you're almost starstruck. That's glory. Is that when you walk in a room, there's a weight about you. You demand attention. Does that make sense? You demand attention. They wanted that. And that's a pretty cool thing. For some people, that's even more important than money. That they want the respect of all because of what they've accomplished. Make sense? All right, so those are the three main motives, all right? And we call those things, you can underline it, it's the last line in that paragraph, God, glory, gold. Right off to the side on your notes if you want to, 3 G's. The 3 G's, God, glory, gold. All right, you cannot forget them. God, glory, gold. Why do people want to explore? God, glory, gold. Right? Pretty simple. God, glory, gold. It'll roll off the tongue. You'll just remember it when you're giving the essay and just explain them. Not only did Europeans of the 15th century have the motives for exploration now, but they also had the means, which means that they had the ability to do it now. They had the ability to do it now, okay? They had never had this ability before this time period, all right? By the second half of the 15th century, European monarchies had increased their power and resources so much that they were now able to sponsor voyages. It was very rare that a person would wake up, like let's say I wake up this morning, I'll go, I just feel like exploring a new land. It would be rare that any normal human being would have the money or the ability to do that. Does that make sense out there? Yes? Shake your heads. Give me some. Good. I love you. So there's this innate person, even if I wanted to do it, it doesn't mean I could, right? I want to go to California today. Well, if my bank account don't says I can't, guess what? I ain't going to California. I don't like California that much. I live there. It ain't that great. But, if I want to go to Italy, I've always wanted to visit Italy. Guess what? My bank account don't say that I can. It's that simple. Back then, if you wanted to explore, your bank account would never say you could. You needed a monarchy, a ruler to say, hey, I'll sponsor you. I'll pay for the voyage. Because it's not like you just jumped on a ship and you went. You needed lots of ships, most likely. You needed lots of crew, most likely. You needed lots of food. You needed to be able to take care of people for months. And those ships may not come back. Those people may not come back. And somebody had to be willing to risk a lot of money. So if they couldn't risk it, too bad. You ain't going nowhere. All right? So now at this point, we have a lot of people, or these kings and queens that are like, hey, if we can get somebody to go explore in our name, put our flag, so to speak, somewhere, we have more power, more recognition around the world. And we're not risking our lives. We're just risking a little bit of money. So what? I can remake money. I'll just tax people more. I'll just take more. All right? So, when a Christopher Columbus comes walking along and says, I'd really like to go and try to find, yeah, go ahead, Chris. Here's some coin. Get out of here. Good luck. Hope to see you again. And if I see you, that means I'm going to be much richer, much more power, much more glory. And I didn't have to do nothing but write a couple checks. You know what I mean? Not literally, but I just had to give you a little bit of coin. All right, give you a few ships. Go ahead, buddy. Hire you some people. Get out of here. Good luck. Hope you come back. All right? So we see that these monarchies had so much power and money that they could do it. That simple. All right? Europeans had also reached the level, which is important, of technology that they could do it. Remember, we talked about boats up until this point. They invented these things, but now they're getting to a point where they can actually figure out how to navigate. All right? You go out on an ocean. Anybody ever been out on an ocean? How about just in the woods in the dark? How hard is it to, or easy, I should say, how easy is it to get lost? Very. Very easy, right? Like, I've been out on the ocean before at night. I'm not a big fan of the ocean. I've probably joked with you guys before about that. I hate the ocean. I mean, I love looking at it. I think it's beautiful, right? I think it's a gorgeous creation. I just love it, right? When I'm out on a boat, I've done it a couple times, way out, like on a cruise. I've been on 2 cruises in my life. If I never go on another cruise, I'm good. Like, but I've been out there when you stand on the deck and just look out to utter darkness. And I wonder, how on God's green earth would I find anything if I needed to get anywhere out here? Well, they figured out technology, certain ways of reading the stars, right? They figured out how to steer these big ships, how to catch the wind. They're now getting to a point where they have the ability to get somewhere, right? Just like if you think about, if I wanted to travel across the country years and years and years ago, guess what I needed to use? A horse. You ever been I've ridden a horse before. It ain't fun after about an hour. I can't imagine being on a horse and being lost and hoping to find my way somewhere. Imagine the people that explored across the country. There weren't roads, right? Now you're on an ocean. Not only are there no roads, there's no nothing, right? So this technology needed to be really much more advanced over time. They couldn't have, before this, just gone, let's go and see what happens. You'd end up dying. You wouldn't make it anywhere. You'd run out of food. Well, you could just turn around and come back. Go ahead. Give it a shot. Just go out on a big lake where you can't see land and see how easy it is to get lost. And you're only on a lake. Lake's end, right? Go on an ocean. Good luck finding the end of that. All right, so that's where they were. They were in this time period where there were the motives to do it, 3 of them, God, glory, gold, right? God, glory, gold, and they now had the means. They had the money, and they had the technology to do it. And so that's where we're at in this beginning of exploration of why people decided they were going to do it. Make sense? Simple, right? Not too easy, not rocket science, I don't think. I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to post that soon. It's going to make me unlock the screen.